Have you ever felt that deep sense of loneliness after retirement? That unsettling quiet when the daily routine you once had suddenly disappears? If you have, you're not alone. Many retirees believe that reconnecting with old friends will fill that emotional gap. It makes sense. These are the people who once played such an important role in your life. Surely seeing them again will bring back the warmth and connection you crave, right? But what if I told you that visiting old friends when you're feeling lonely might actually make things worse? I know that sounds counterintuitive, but stick with me. I want to share but 5 surprising reasons. Why relying on past friendships to ease loneliness might not be the solution you think it is. More importantly, I'll show you a better, healthier approach to finding true fulfillment in this next chapter of life. So, let's dive in. One of the toughest realities of retirement is that friendships aren't always the same as they once were. I've seen this happen firsthand. You might expect to pick up where you left off, laughing, reminiscing, and feeling that same bond you had years ago. But life moves forward. People change. Priorities shift. And sometimes those old connections just don't fit the way they used to. Think about it. Before retirement, friendships were often built around routine. Maybe you saw each other at work, grabbed lunch together, or met up at events without much effort. Now, without those built-in moments, friendships require more intentional effort to maintain. I remember talking to a friend, John, who retired at 72. He was excited to reconnect with old friends, thinking they'd pick up where they left off. But when he reached out, he found that many had already settled into their own new routines. Some were busy traveling, others wrapped up in family life, and a few just didn't seem interested in rekindling things. It left him feeling even lonelier than before. Here's the truth. Not every friendship is meant to last forever. And that's okay. Instead of trying to revive something that's faded, the better approach is to embrace change and focus on building new connections that align with who you are today. When loneliness hits, it's natural to want something familiar, something that reminds you of the past and gives you a sense of belonging. And for many retirees, that means reaching out to old friends. But here's something I've learned the hard way. Loneliness isn't always about missing people. Sometimes it's about missing purpose. Retirement takes away a big part of your daily structure. No more work schedules, deadlines, or meetings. And that sudden loss of structure can feel like losing a piece of yourself. In that void, many people turn to socializing, hoping that reconnecting with old friends will make them feel whole again. But if you've ever spent time with people, only to go home feeling just as empty, you know that friendships alone don't fill that gap. Take Martha, for example. At 68, she was constantly calling and visiting old friends, hoping their company would make her happy. But no matter how much she socialized, something still felt off. It wasn't until she started volunteering at a local animal shelter that she finally felt real fulfillment. That's when she realized. It wasn't friendship she needed, it was purpose. So the next time you feel lonely and think about visiting an old friend, ask yourself, am I really missing this person? Or am I missing something deeper? Friendships are meant to be reciprocal. Both people should feel valued, heard, and supported. However, as we age, many retirees find themselves in one-sided friendships, where they're always the one making the effort. If you're the one constantly calling, texting, or arranging visits while the other person simply responds, or worse, doesn't seem enthusiastic, it can lead to frustration, disappointment, and even deeper loneliness. At first, it might not be obvious. You may feel like you're simply being proactive, making an effort to keep connections alive. But over time, a pattern emerges. You're always the one reaching out. Maybe your friend never initiates plans, doesn't respond to messages as often, or cancels meetups at the last minute. You start wondering, do they even want to see me? Or am I forcing something that isn't there anymore? Take Richard, for example, a 70-year-old retiree who prided himself on staying in touch with old friends. Every week he would call and suggest meeting up, but he noticed something disheartening. His friends never called first. While they were friendly when he reached out, they never actively made plans with him. The realization stung. He felt more alone than before, realizing that perhaps he was holding on to friendships that weren't as meaningful anymore. The truth is, friendships should be a two-way street. If you feel like you're always the one making the effort, it's worth asking yourself whether these friendships are still serving you. Meaningful relationships should make you feel appreciated and wanted, not like a burden or an afterthought. Instead of investing all your energy into one-sided friendships, consider seeking out new connections with people who actively want to be part of your life. One of the biggest reasons retirees turn to old friendships is the comfort of familiarity. When life feels uncertain, reminiscing about the past can feel reassuring. Looking back on shared memories, inside jokes, and past experiences can create an illusion of closeness, making it seem like picking up where you left off is the right thing to do. But here's the hard truth. Clinging to the past can keep you from moving forward. Imagine Barbara, a 74-year-old widow who spent years trying to maintain friendships from her younger days. Every time she felt lonely, she would call old friends, visit them, and try to recreate the good times they once had. But deep down, she realized something unsettling. These interactions left her feeling stuck. Instead of making new memories or exploring new interests, she was constantly trying to relive the past. The past can be a wonderful thing to reflect on, but it shouldn't define your present. Just because you had a strong bond with someone years ago doesn't mean that relationship is essential to your happiness now. By constantly looking backward, you may be missing opportunities to grow, meet new people, and find new sources of fulfillment. Retirement is a new chapter in life, one that should be filled with fresh experiences, personal growth, and excitement. Instead of investing energy in friendships that no longer serve you, why not explore new hobbies, join social clubs, or volunteer? The world is full of possibilities, and sometimes the most fulfilling relationships are the ones you haven't even made yet. Friendships should be a source of joy, support, and mutual connection. However, as we get older, we often realize that not all friendships bring positivity into our lives. But over the years, he started to notice a pattern. He was the one making all the effort, and the interactions were draining rather than enriching. Some friends seemed indifferent to his presence, barely engaging in meaningful conversation. Others only wanted to vent about their problems, never reciprocating the emotional support he gave them. He left these visits feeling more tired, unappreciated, and even lonelier than before. When friendships start feeling like an obligation rather than a joy, it's important to recognize that it's okay to step back and protect your emotional energy. You are not obligated to maintain relationships that make you feel worse about yourself. Instead of feeling guilty for distancing yourself, remind yourself that prioritizing your own well-being is essential. This doesn't mean you have to completely cut ties with old friends, but it does mean setting healthy boundaries, reducing time spent with people who drain your energy, and choosing to invest in relationships that bring mutual happiness and support. Another aspect of draining friendships is that they can hold you back from personal growth. If you're always surrounded by people who complain, resist change, or discourage new experiences, you may subconsciously absorb that negativity. Instead of exploring new opportunities in retirement, whether it's traveling, learning a new skill, or meeting new people, you might find yourself stuck in old habits and limiting beliefs. The people we surround ourselves with have a significant impact on our mindset, so it's important to choose friendships that inspire and motivate rather than deplete us. Retirement is meant to be a part-time of joy, exploration, and self-discovery. By reassessing your social circle and letting go of friendships that no longer serve you, you create space for the new, fulfilling relationships. Surround yourself with people who bring laughter, encouragement, and meaningful conversation into your life. Seek out individuals who share your current interests, values, and goals, whether through community groups, clubs, or simply by being open to new connections. Navigating friendships in retirement can be challenging. After decades of relationships built around work, routine, and shared life stages, it can be difficult to accept that some friendships change, fade, or no longer bring the same fulfillment they once did. If you found yourself feeling lonelier despite reaching out to old friends, it's important to ask yourself, am I holding on to this friendship because it still brings me joy, or because I feel obligated to? Do I leave my interactions feeling happier and more energized, or do I feel drained and unfulfilled? Am I relying on old friendships to fill a deeper emotional gap, such as a lack of purpose or connection? Am I giving myself the opportunity to form new friendships that align with my current life and interests? Retirement is not just an ending, it's a new beginning. It's a chance to prioritize what truly brings you happiness, rather than clinging to relationships that leave you feeling emotionally exhausted. Instead of feeling trapped by the past, focus on creating a future that excites you. This might mean exploring new hobbies, joining social groups, traveling, volunteering, or simply being open to forming new connections with people who genuinely appreciate and support you. The beauty of this stage in life is that you get to choose how you spend your time and who you spend it with. You no longer have to invest energy in relationships that deplete you. Instead, you can cultivate friendships that bring mutual joy, laughter, and growth. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, uplift you, and make you feel valued. True fulfillment doesn't come from holding on to every relationship from the past. It comes from embracing the people and experiences that make your life richer today. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on this journey. May your retirement years be filled with meaningful connections, personal growth, and a deep sense of joy.